If you haven't watched my previous Monster Hunter video, I basically go over the first few hours of the game and show you how poorly it teaches you how to play it. I made that video because I absolutely love Monster Hunter World. I've sunk like, I don't know, 200 plus 300 something hours into the game, but the first 2 hours of the game really feel like the game doesn't want you to play it. So I thought it was a good opportunity to kind of demo how not to do a tutorial. And now with Monster Hunter Wilds having come out, thought it might be a good time to compare the two starting experiences, see how they stack up, see if things have changed, see if they've improved a little bit. I'm not really gonna go over the intro cutscenes. It's pretty standard fare, and like I mentioned in the world video, we're not really here for the story, but basically this kid's village gets attacked. His uncle, who looks like a well-adjusted version of Asmongold, shoves him through some rocks. Now the kid's got trauma. Now that trauma's our problem. Bada bing, bada boom, we're hunters. The big thing with these intro cutscenes versus Monster Hunter World intro cutscenes is you can already tell that they're trying to put you in the shoes of a well-established hunter. Whereas with Monster Hunter World, you start out crawling on Zora Magdaros with no weapon, and later on you charge towards monsters that you can't attack, so Matt Mercer has to save you. It's just like a lot of time establishing things that don't really pay off or get a lot of return. Monster Hunter Wilds seems like it's really trying to lean into the you're a badass fantasy by putting you in the shoes of an established and almost folk hero status type of hunter. You're given gameplay pretty quickly in Monster Hunter Wilds. That being said, it is gameplay on Capcom's version of a chocobo, but I'll take it. So I don't know about you, but anytime I'm thrown onto a mount in a video game, my brain goes, oh hell yeah, and I'm just about it. But the thing is, when you're riding the chocobo and it's a story-based event, you can kind of treat these like cutscenes. You can totally walk away from the game if you really want to. I don't suggest it. I mean, I know gameplay is fairly limited here. It's basically like an on-rail shooter if you try to catch as many like gathering materials as you can while you're on the chocobo. But if you don't, it's a cutscene. This continues to extend out further in the game. Like I even tested it out at one point where like I had a cutscene that was broken up by a chocobo ride followed by another cutscene with another chocobo ride, and I had walked away the entire time and still hadn't needed to control my character in all of that time. So back in Monster Hunter World, when you first get to explore the starting area, you don't really get to accomplish a whole lot. The game still isn't ready for you to play it. With Wilds, the first time you're given full control of your character, not only do you get to pick the weapon that you're going to go with, you also get to practice with it for as long as you'd like. Once you leave the starting area, you're basically thrust into your first monster fight. Something that in Monster Hunter World, you didn't get to do until your third visit to the ancient forest. That being said, the first fight isn't perfect. There's a lot of interruptions here, but I don't really fault Monster Hunter for this. Teaching combat in a video game has always been pretty awkward, so it is what it is. And honestly, I'll take this type of tutorial over the learning from a sensei type of a tutorial anytime, because at least with this, I know every time I'm getting interrupted, I learned something and I'm still making forward progress on my goal, which is slaying that baddie. Once we're through with that first hunt, we start learning about the prepping side of Monster Hunter. Back in Monster Hunter World, you learn this side of the game through a guided tour when you first get to Astera, before you slay your first monster. One of my pain points in my Monster Hunter World video that I mentioned was that you're introduced to the smithy before you ever slay your first monster. And I emphasized how it'd be much more impactful if you learned about the smithy after you made your first kill. That way when you get there, you're able to immediately enjoy the fruits of your own labor. And guess what, baby? Wilds does that exact thing. Another thing I like about the base camp trips is you're pretty much taught only the essentials every time you go. Like the provisions guy isn't even ready for you yet when you first get there. You learn about the smithy and immediately get to start making yourself some armor, maybe a weapon, depending on like what drops you got from the Chotacabra. You learn about your tent where you manage your equipment and inventory, and you learn about optional quests, and you even get to go on one from here. So far, it seems like Monster Hunter Wilds does a pretty good job of spreading out your learning experience throughout the game, which is great because it gets people engaged quicker, gets people playing the game more, and gets them more excited to learn something when you do throw something new at them. Now, something I hinted at in my Monster Hunter World video but didn't really go too much into because it doesn't get really egregious in the beginning of the game is the story aspects of Monster Hunter World. I say story aspects because I don't really know what else to call the Zora Magdaros sections of Monster Hunter World, and how just not fun they are to play. Now, I'm not here to say that Wild's story is that much more interesting. Maybe it gets better, I don't know. I haven't finished Wilds yet, but I'm pretty deep into it. So far, it's better, I'll say that. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, we're not here for the story. But the thing with Wilds that'll take over World every time, any day, is the White Wraith over Zora Magdaros. So far, the White Wraith's presence has been wholly unobtrusive in comparison to Zora Magdaros, because with Zora Magdaros, you're forced into an extremely boring boss fight every couple chapters or so. So on that front, Wilds has got the one up. We'll see what happens as we go through and I actually get to facing off with the White Wraith, but as of right now, I'm enjoying Wilds from an even story side of things better than I was World. So yeah, really digging Wild so far. I think it does a really good job in comparison to World in introducing players in the game. But hey, you tell me what you think, and if you like what you heard, give me a chat below with the sub button, thumbs up button, tell me you know it was Cho, and it's been a little bit, so I'm shaking off the rust. It's a little bit of a quick vid, you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? It's a quickie. It's a quickie, so I shake off the rust, cause my job took too much of my life, so I had to disappear. I couldn't make a video, but here's a quick one for you. I couldn't make a video, but here's a quick one. Oh, I also got really distracted because I learned how to use Arch, by the way. Alright, see you later.